Valorant released their Alpha 0.10 recently, and it was a pretty big update. Between remaking their engine to optimize what they learned from the last one and progression system content beginning to pile up, it's starting to look like it has a good future. So I must ask the question, is it worth playing yet? First, a bit of backstory for those who have no idea what Valorant even is or is attempting to become. Valorant is a free open source project that started up after Cube World hit the scene. It was primarily inspired by Cube World, and I don't blame the creators. There are a lot of good ideas in the original Cube World release that disappeared on the Steam release. It makes me feel good to know that a group of people said, we can make our own take on this, and kept the original spirit going. They have moved beyond that to take inspiration from a variety of games, and from there it has grown to now where Valorant has 21 active devs in a growing Discord where you can see them openly discuss the game and feedback amongst the community. So back to the question of whether it's worth playing. I'm going to cautiously say yes. While there isn't that many hours of content, it is arguably a game now. You have gear, progression, skills, crafting, and a handful of bosses to defeat. Oh, did I mention it's multiplayer, and while the devs have a server up to let anyone play on, you can host your own to play with your friends privately. The map is procedurally generated. You don't get to generate your own, as it's much more akin to Dwarf Fortress's procedural generation, where it generates a whole history to the landscape, and it takes quite long to do so. There's varied enemy types, spellcasters, archers, melee attackers. Even the melee types have a couple of styles of attacking, from the straightforward in-your-face to a charge and retreat tactic that can be hard to deal with as a newbie. A pack of wolves will circle around you and charge at your back, for example. Bosses have their own movesets and mechanics that keep different fights interesting. On the other hand, the boss that said dungeon could be in is very bland for now. As I'm making this, there are devs talking about how to improve them on the Discord, but for now dungeons are a maze of rectangular empty rooms with packs of mobs and stairs going to another floor. Crafting is a simple recipe system, but where you get the materials is the challenge. You can get starter materials like copper and tin from the highest level of a cave that is populated by neutral mobs, or fight your way through increasing difficulty to the bottom level and get your hands on the best ore. The skill system has potential as well. You spec into a weapon, unlock a new skill, spec into modifiers as simple as increased damage, or build defying selections such as letting you spin with your axe indefinitely while you have energy instead of one large sweep. That's enough about mechanics. How about the gameplay loop? It's pretty good. You head out from town, fight monsters for materials, gather other materials, and make your first set of gear, maybe a couple bags. Now you know what you want and head off to find something specific like red flowers and make higher tier bags, or to a cave to get ore and gems. You level up a few times, spec into your preferred weapon, put points into modifying your skills, and now that you have something more substantial gear and skill wise, you can dive into harder and harder dungeons to face off with groups of mobs and ultimately the bosses for a chance at unique loot. Combat has varied attacks and an action style. Monsters do have tells for which attack they will use, whether it's a mouth opening for a bite or standing in a pose before charging at you. It's possible to block them, parry them, or simply roll out of the way. Hitboxes are a little janky, but you could run out of the range of slower attacks or hit multiple stacked up monsters with a single swing. You can use a glider to get around, as well as some traveling airships between towns that have a mind of their own as they bounce across the landscape. You will need that glider because, much like Minecraft, it's very easy to fling yourself off a cliff to certain death without the ability to fly. There are spots where neither traveling mechanic is of use, and that's where a future mount system is planned to fill the gap. In conclusion, I'll give it a play it out of 10, with a qualifier that is being held back by lack of content. I found myself going back for more after a day of playing, which for a game with so little content is the ultimate sign of potential in my opinion. The best part is that it's open source and free. You don't lose anything by trying it out. If you don't like something about the game, you can give feedback, or you can make your own branch in the code to fix it yourself. As with this video, the main devs are very open to allowing participation even from novices in coding. There are things to be done yet, many of which are not directly related to coding. That's all for now. I hope Valorant has a bright future. I'll probably be releasing a video with all my feedback and criticisms for this alpha release, so if you want to see that before you dip your toes in, hit that subscribe button.